you ready, everyone?
That was from.
That was us.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Fiscal Court. Glad everyone's here. Before we call this meeting to order, Jason, you want to lead some prayers?
Dear God, thank you for this day that you've given us, Lord, and thank you for all your many blessings, Lord. Thank you for how you watch over and protect us each and every day, God. And as we gather here this morning to make decisions that affect the county, Lord, help us to have a clear mind, Lord, and use our best judgment and do everything according to your will. Thank you for all of our elected officials, Lord, and all of our department heads and county employees and everybody who serves this community in any aspect that they do, God. And we thank you for each and every person here in attendance. Just lead, guide, and direct us through the rest of this day, Lord. And thank you for everything you've done for us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Now let's call this meeting to order by saying our pledge to our flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That was when you start singing, wasn't it?
Once again, good morning, everyone, and thank you for your attendance, whether it be live or online. First matter of business is approval of minutes. This is our June 24th minutes.
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. No changes, no discussion.
Who let that dog out?
Big dog.
I don't know what that was about, but okay, roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Next up is our approvals of bills. We didn't have a supplement bill list, but we did have the approval of bills there.
Motion to approve the bills.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Next up on our is treasurer's report. Miss Amanda, will you come forth and present?
Good morning, Court.
Good morning.
They have several items for you this morning. The first thing that I have for you is our fourth quarter financial statement, along with our appropriation condition report ending June 30, 2025, a list of all of our outstanding encumbrances for ending June 30, 2025, and the third-party financial statement for the end of the fiscal year. The balance in the general fund was $628,567.04, road fund $455,608.14, jail fund $70,793.78, LGEA fund $16,793.41, federal grants fund $54.68, solid waste recycling $412,206.89, Parks and Rec Fund $4,722,605.13, occupational tax $4,436,615.71, life skills $167,147.54, 911 fund $44,290.20, health insurance fund $1,968,071.04, county clerk dock storage fees $130,547.27, ARPA fund $715,651.27, national opioid settlement fund $416,970.12, special reserve $6,241,986.74, for a total of all funds $20,427,908.96.
So acknowledge.
Second.
I have an acknowledgement and a second. Any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcutt,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
The next things that I have for you is a list of budget transfers. I know it is the first court meeting, but all of these budget transfers are from open enrollment, where we determined who was taking taxable income in lieu of health insurance, so we went ahead and made sure that we adjusted those line items accordingly.
Make a motion to approve the budget transfers as presented.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Discussion? Roll call.
Magic touch.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilkett,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
And the last thing that I have for you is our cash transfers. Today, we need to transfer $550,000 from the occupational net profits tax fund to the general fund.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any
You're gonna see
discussion?
that pretty much every quarter meeting now.
Roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilkett,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
We need to transfer $130,000 from the occupational net profits tax fund to the jail fund.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilkett,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
We need to transfer $25,000 from the occupational net profits tax fund to the LGEA fund.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Discussion? Roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilkett,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
And we need to transfer $35,000 from the occupational net profits tax fund to the 911 fund.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilkett,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
That's all I have for you.
Thank you, Ms. Amanda. Next item up on the agenda is road work requests. Let's start with District 1.
District 1, out on Homer Road, edge of the road, across from 3100, needs to be built up and patched. Other than that, continue maintenance. Appreciate everything.
District 2.
Denise has sent some pictures. I don't know if all of y'all have got them. I don't know if they're gonna be,
No.
no?
No, they're not on the drive, no. Are
Okay. Yeah, there they are.
they? Are they?
This is, Denise, is this your house? This is your house. Trauber Road, the fence row was taken out, on Trauber Road, and it has created a huge problem. All the people that are in the backyard that live next to Denise, down Nashville Road, it has just flooded, and it's a problem. And I've talked to Pee Wee. I've got to get with Lucas. We're going to try to talk to Lucas too, and it's just neat. I just wanted to bring this to the attention. It's bad. Like,
Yeah, I went down there Thursday and looked at it personally and seen what was going on, and it's coming off that field and running across, and it's just flooding all those houses down through there. I don't know what exactly can be done, but I'll get with Pee Wee and we'll see if we can at least get an idea of what to do there. I don't know if some ditching can fix it or what it's gonna take to actually fix it, but, it's on my list.
on your and the guy who owns the land or the farmer or whatever, I can talk to either one of them or whatever needs to be done. And then, still want to get with you and talk to you about Kirby Road Bridge.
Yes.
And also, Pee Wee, I need to holler at you about, Francis Yates Road looks really good, but want to get with you about another thing or two on there. But thank y'all for everything.
Can I ask Denise a question? Is that proper in this format? About, Denise, did that flooding occur before the fence row was taken out? Ever? No. Okay, thanks.
District 3.
We just continue maintenance, but I do want to get an update sometime on some of the recent things that we've talked about, just to, I know you were going to go take a look at them, but just want to follow up at some point. Also, just want to ask the question, are we meeting Thursday morning?
My
still?
plan is to, yes.
Do we need to meet earlier, like
If we
8?
can. I mean, I meant to send out a message yesterday and I got covered up.
The road criteria committee?
We can,
Yeah.
the three of us can get together and do we.
8 o'clock is fine.
8 o'clock would be better if we could.
You good with that?
Okay. We'll talk about it after. District 4.
Goodman Road, up where the road's coming apart, I don't know if that's a patch that we can do, or if we need to wait till Scotty's comes back in the fall to do it. But I'd like to replace that tile right there at the community center too. They'll supply the tile and we'll replace it, maybe ditch it a little deeper.
Going back, we dig them out, it's bad, we have to dig them out, and we ain't holding, I just started digging, coming out, that would be one we dig out.
Okay. All right, just keep that on your radar. And then, is there another washout on Canyon Run, or did y'all fix the bad washout on Canyon Run? Because the lady called me last week.
Yeah, we fixed it once or twice,
Okay. I don't know if that came up again or not. I can drive down there and check, but I had a call about that. Other than that, everything looks good. Thank you. Continue maintenance.
District 5.
Thank you for the tile on Miller Road, and keep on keeping on. Thank you.
District 6.
My pothole on Franklin Road's back. It's probably about this deep now. So if I get another patch over it, it seems like the last couple of weeks it hadn't moved anymore, but it's probably down 3 inches. And if I get another cold patch over that, I'd appreciate it. Thanks for all y'all do. Appreciate you.
They do a wonderful job. Another word is we have three tractors out starting this week, doing mowing, trying to keep up with that. And the 3 mow trims. So we're doing our best to keep up with all this spring growth, I might say. So with that being said, I need a motion and a second to accept road work request.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Motion and second. No discussion. Roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilkie,
Yes.
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes. Next up is elected officials. Sheriff Stratton, beside your fee report, do you have anything for us?
Fee report, duly acknowledged.
Make a motion to acknowledge the sheriff's fee report.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. If no discussion, roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilkie,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Stacy Watkins, our clerk, would you come forward?
I have a fee report as well.
Make a motion to approve the clerk's fee report.
Second.
I have a motion and I think I had a second.
Second.
No discussion, roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilkie,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Okay, so I wanted to just kind of, I've stripped down this KRS, and I have a copy of it for everybody, I forgot to bring it up, but about the nickel tax. There's a lot of commotion around this nickel tax, so I kind of wanted to just get us all on the same page as far as our responsibility as a county and what that means for us on down the road. So if y'all don't mind, rather than being asking questions, I've kind of got it all, like step by step. Okay, so we all know that the school board levied a tax on June 6th, and that was that nickel tax. Had there been no petition committee formed, that motion would have passed, and we would just see that on our normal tax bill. However, a committee of three qualified voters who reside in the Logan County School Board District were formed, and we actually have 5. Don't know if y'all are familiar. It's John Dawson, Daniel Kemp, Lonnie Epley, John Keith Smith, and John Walpole. They did file a petition, an affidavit to circulate a petition, and that was filed in my office on June 23rd. That petition will have to be returned to us by 7/21, so that's July 21st. However, they can do that sooner and get this ball rolling faster. So all of the timelines, I can't give you dates on those because it all depends on each step and how it comes in. But they have to have that to me by 7/21. Okay, so they've got to acquire at least 10% of the last presidential elections, general voters of that, and they've got to come from that Logan County School Board as well. So they're needing 1,043 signatures in order to stop this motion that has passed. When I will then have 30 days to determine if that petition is sufficient, or sooner if I can, and then I will have to get the circuit clerk to certify that in 10 days or sooner if that petition does, if we deem that sufficient. Next, the school board will have an option there's 3 options. They can either hold a special election no less than 35 days and no more than 45 days, and they will be required to pay the cost of that election. So I know we're concerned about our budget right now. It's not going to affect our budget. They will have to pay for that. They can, if they choose, they can wait until the next general election. They're welcome to do that. They can just put a pause, a freeze on it. It can show up next year in our general. And then that would break down the cost, like we would handle the cost. It would just be adding that question to an already existing ballot. They also have the option, they can cancel that election by reconsidering or amending their original motion. Whatever action though they decide to do off that third option, they have 15 days or else that wouldn't be valid. They would have 15 days from us finding that petition sufficient. Due to the timing of everything, and like I said, we can't set guidelines on the times just yet until we see when is stuff turned in, how long does it take us to retract or to accept a signature or not, and we will go through those line by line. But due to the timing, it would be very difficult for the school board to have their tax rate into us. If all this goes into motion, we wind up seeing a special election. So if they are unable to provide the new tax rate by September 15th, we will be required to do another billing, which the county handles the billing on the tax bills. So we will have to do a second billing. However, the school board would then pay for that second billing to make sure that they got their tax increase if they are able to get it. As far as costs go, it's really too soon to project any kind of number on what an election would cost them. I do have some feelers out to HARP, who is our election vendor, and I'm just trying to get some ideas, but I've had no numbers come back to me yet. So I don't know yet what kind of cost we're looking at. I don't know yet what State Board of Elections is going to require. Will they require all 5 locations? Will they let them do 1 location? Will we do 3 I don't know. There's too many unknowns. So we're kind of in a holding pattern. Does anybody have any questions? I just wanted y'all to know what I know you're probably getting asked questions. I feel like everyone is.
Public clarification
Yes,
is what
ma'am.
is needed most.
I agree. And so I worked on this last night Jen, do you mind to look in that binder in the first pocket when you flip it open? There is a KRS for each one of them stapled together. Hold on 1 second, I'll grab that. So we are following this to a T. And yes, ma'am, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. What was your question?
Thank you.
You're
Well,
welcome.
public clarification is the biggest problem here because people didn't know it was coming at them.
Right.
And I think unfortunately, it has caused a lot of upset. From what I understand, 1,000, did you say 57
It's 1,000
signatures?
43.
43. They've already got over 500. If they get that through, then it has to be on our election.
No, ma'am. They have 3 options. One option would be to do a special election. One option would be to, because as you know, we don't have an election this general. Well, there isn't one, it's off year. So there is no election that they can kind of piggyback on. they have the option to do a special. And like I said, they have 35, once that sufficiency, once the circuit clerk deems that petition sufficient, and those 1,043 signatures can be counted, and it passes on through, then they could hold a special election. They can wait till next year's
Oh, I see.
general
Okay.
election, or they could choose not to do it at all, or amend that
Well,
motion.
if they need the money, but they just need to make sure the public is aware of how this is playing out.
Right, and that's why I wanted to get up here, because I don't want us to get ourselves in any type of legal trouble answering questions that don't have anything to do with us. So as bad as I hate to continually tell the school board and also tell this committee, I'm not giving legal advice, I'm not a lawyer. They have the same KRS I have, I'm not going to get in trouble for interpreting that law. I'm only going to deal with the parts that my office deals with, because I'm going to get myself in trouble if I go touching anything else. I don't have anything else to do with anything else. And I also want to say, I'm in the city, so I have no dog in this fight. None at all. So,
Well, I appreciate you bringing it
yes,
up.
ma'am, I just wanted to get everybody.
Because there is some concern,
Right.
and I'm getting those calls, and I say, I'm not in a position.
Right. Well, and that KRS, it's hard to break down. It's 5 pages, but I did try to break it down on what pertains to us. But, I mean, you can show it to them. It's pretty clear language
So I
in
can
it.
pass this,
Absolutely.
I did that with the nuisance ordinance, I made copies and copies and copies and gave it to people.
Because we're not lawyers. I don't want to interpret the law.
Question,
Yeah, and there's a lot of lawyers involved, so I definitely don't want to get myself in trouble. But we have Joe, of course, the school has their own, and this petition committee have their own. And then, of course, we have State Board backing us and Secretary of State that will help as well. So it's a lot of moving parts.
can I make one more thing?
Sure, absolutely.
Even though it says 5 cents, the actual tax increase is not that. Is that correct?
That is not my domain. I'm not going to speak on that. All I do is this part right here. Whatever happens, I'm ready to do it, but our office doesn't have anything to do with what they said on
Well,
that.
I'm sorry I asked.
No, you're fine. I just don't want to speak
Well,
on
I'm not
that.
trying to put you on the spot, that was not my intent.
Right. Oh, no, it's okay. Did anybody else have any more questions
No,
about it?
that's
Okay. All right. Thank you, guys.
All right, continuing on with elected officials, Jailer Joshua Timmy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
As of this morning, we had 95 county, 49 state, 23 on our work side, holding 1 out of county for pickup for 145. And since the last court meeting, there has been 57 released and 65 new intakes booked in. And give you an update, our Work Ready Boot Camp 2 weeks ago went very well. We got some new businesses that have come in that are participating in our project for the Work Ready training, as well as the job fair. Went very well last week. We're always looking for new employers that are second chance friendly. It's very important to us. We're trying to reduce recidivism, education, and employment. It's the 2 biggest means in which to do that, so we're always looking to add those businesses. We're currently testing with the Accuplacer for college classes for the next semester through SkyTech, working with the men and women over there on who's interested, that's got their GED finished or their high school that's ready for that next step. So we're working on that, preparing for that next semester. Our next pre-release class for the individuals within the next 3 months that'll be getting out from incarceration will be Friday, July 18th from 2 to 4 p.m. There's always approximately 20 different agencies represented and free resources to the individuals that'll be getting out that will give an overview of what their agency is, what they have to offer, and the services that they can provide to individuals that's being released to where they've got those resources available. And we go over that with them prior to where they're not just having to figure it out on their own, whether it be sober living or housing, transportation, medical care, there's a litany of things. I mean, a whole number of things that a lot of times you and I would take for granted, but that means a lot to individuals. Clothing, career development, resume building, those types of things. But that pre-release class, again, Friday, July 18th from 2 to 4 at the Logan County Detention Center. And then we're working on dates for the next upcoming boot camp. Typically, those are done every 3 to 4 months, approximately every quarter. But we're working on those dates and preparing for that next class. And then the last thing I have for you this morning is, of course, during contracts and things, our medical was renewed. I have a copy of the updated contract that I've already submitted to Joe Ross for approval, to look through that, and then I wanted to give you all a copy of that.
Thank you.
And I'll just say, in terms of the meat of it, I believe just sets out a lot of the terms of the bid, and so Josh reviewed that, and then I looked at the bottom part of it, and it deals with all the legal issues, and I believe the updated version that he had gotten did ensure that all the legal venue was Kentucky. I think they're a company that does business in both Kentucky and Indiana, and they had used boilerplate language from Indiana, but they had that changed within 30 minutes of me making that note, so they seem like they're good partners for him.
That's good to hear.
I don't know if, Judge, if you need time to review that, but it's the same thing
Joe,
that's
you
represented in the contract that was approved as far as the financial side of it. Nothing different. It's just approval from the court to sign that moving forward, being as it is a new fiscal year with them as well.
And I'll say we typically do break, so if they wanted to hold this and do it post-agenda, that's fine. They can do that if you wanted a little more time to look at it, but I'm good with it, either way. Joe's good, or does anyone want to take another look at it?
It helps for Joe to give us
Yes.
a backup for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine with it. I guess we didn't have to rebid that or anything.
I think we already voted on that, so this would just be the
That part
contract.
was, okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay.
Favorite report?
Motion to approve the contract.
Yes, to be able to sign that moving forward.
I think it would just be a motion to allow Judge Baker to sign the contract, all the other terms you all voted on as part of the bid, so. Sign it, Josh. Typically you sign those. There's listed Josh's name in here.
I could get that added, Judge. That wouldn't be a problem. Okay.
Okay, then that part needs to definitely be changed then, if that's what admin code reads.
I can step out and make that call, and
I mean, they can
Yeah,
approve it. So
They just add that page.
Pending,
Yeah.
adding the judge's signature page on there.
yes, sir.
Second.
He did.
Oh, yeah, I did.
I thought that's what it was.
Yeah. That sounds good, Tom.
All right, I have a
Then, yeah, I
motion and a
did.
second.
I'm gonna vote for it.
Pending the judges.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford, Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Thank you, that's all I have.
All right, next up is department heads. Pee Wee, I know you got something for us with the road department.
Morning, y'all. We have a new hire that we brought in, out. He's on the mow trim. He seems to be doing a real good job.
Full-time or part-time?
Full-time.
since we have a moment, we do still have a position.
Yeah, he's over in Chris's territory this morning, trimming.
We still have a couple of seasonal positions open, if anyone's interested.
If they come over to
They
District
contact
1
me, we-
sometime soon.
Yeah, that's a different crew.
We might as well be in the tropical rainforest, I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's raining. Mowing is always a challenge, brush or grass.
We got
Really
this-
bad, really bad.
The new year, I better. Forget, we switched over to the new one.
You need to get on that news sheet.
There at the end of that. I'm sure it's right. Got bad news, Pee Wee. We didn't do a road department salary schedule this year. No, I'm just joking.
So you're saying you just took it from us?
I'm working for free.
They're like the black sheep of the family here.
I tell you what. I make a motion to approve the personal action request for Robert A. Oberhausen, effective date 7/1/25. He'll be in the stipend schedule LC-RD-1S1 with 2 years credit experience.
Have a motion and a second. No discussion, roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes,
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker,
I
Yes.
gotta get back to her.
I gave him on the mower up on District 1. He's gotten hired.
He's on mow trim. He's out there,
He's mow trim.
and he said District 1 is the one district. he
District
didn't want.
one, will have to buy us lunch or something, and we might work that way.
I can, hey. I wasn't gonna say it on the record, but we'll talk later. No, I'm joking.
Thank you, Pee Wee. Nathan, come on up, sir. Nathan Cockrell, Solid Waste. I usually save him for last, and I guess that's what we're doing today.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, I don't have a lot right now, so, yeah. The Ritter report is on your tablets there. We did have a 35.5 miles, a couple hundred bags. I do appreciate the deputy and crew working out in the heat. Appreciate the work they're doing out there in the conditions. And did have a recycling report for the previous month as well, 17 cardboard bales and some paper. One other note I'll make is that John Matthews Construction, whom you all approved for the roof, is nearing completion out there. So they're got quite a bit done, and they're getting close to getting finished. So, unless there's questions, that's all I have right now.
Thank you, Nathan.
Short and sweet, yeah, take an offer. Yeah, but I'll be back up for the post.
Yeah, there it is.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on ahead. I don't think I got any more. No. Moving ahead, judges' announcements. Once again, Denise, thank you for putting this list together for me. Starting July the 8th, Spay and Ada Kentucky Distribution Day for seniors, veterans, disabled, and those experiencing financial difficulties. Tuesday, July the 8th, in the parking lot of Race Stadium, starting at 4:30. July the 8th to the 11th is a various amount of animal shows continuing at the Ag Extension Center, Arena, excuse me, starting at 10, and there's a whole list of different things. Just, if you're interested, just go out there after. July 11th, the Loft is featuring Fortunate Sons in concert as a fundraiser for Stuff the Bus, 6 p.m. Music starts at 7. July 11th, Slick Tree Hound and Hunt Company here in Russell will be hosting a prospect shooting hunt beginning at 6 p.m. Entry fee is $200 with a deadline of 6 to 8 p.m. I don't understand what that is, but anyway, cash prizes for the first places. July the 12th, Logan County's free dump day at the transfer station, 55 Pleasant View Road. That is for Logan County residents. Also, July 12th is the Summer Nights Cruise In. Weather and temperature permitting, yeah. July the 12th is the Auburn's Party on the Square featuring Tyrone Dunn and Kinfolk from 7 to 10. Everyone is invited. That's about all. July the 19th, Logan County Saddle Club's Fun Show on Saturday at 6 o'clock. It's July 19th at 6 o'clock p.m. on Bucksville Road. $5 per entry. For more information, contact Will Gregory at 725-5626. All right, that's about all I have for that. I don't think we have any reports from any committee reports.
Judge?
Yes, sir.
Eric walked in.
Oh. All right, let's back up then to department heads. Come on up, Eric.
I didn't know if you wanted.
No, I didn't see him until you said
Well,
that.
you were reading announcements, I didn't think you did, so.
Sorry for the
Well, we'll
delay.
excuse you for being a little tardy here. I mean, you know.
Don't be.
Yeah, you
Don't
guys
mess
going
up.
quick today.
Check over here, we got a dog in a pocket.
All right, so we'll go quick. Our June totals, we ended with 48 dogs. That's a net loss of 4 dogs for the month. We had 17 ACO pickups, 7 owner surrenders, 6 stray drop-off, and 10 returned from fosters. But then out, we had 25 adoptions, 11 fostered, 1 transferred out, 4 owner pickups, and then 3 euthanized. We did have a big, average daily dogs at the shelter was 57. We had a big influx, but we got a bunch out. Yearly totals, we've had 304 dogs brought in with 303 dogs that have left. That gives us 139 adoptions. Animals at the facility as of today is 48. So we are officially out of our code black, which is awesome. And I was running, but we actually got a plaque. We were officially named a no-kill shelter by Best Friends Animal Society. Not to be confused with Best Friends Animal Rescue, they're Best Friends Animal Societies, the nationwide program that kind of is now taken on the no-kill. It used to be run by like the Humane Society, but this Best Friends Animal Shelter now is the standard bearer for no-kill shelters. Once again, we pride ourselves working hard to find all homes for adoptable pets. And we only euthanize for health or aggression and never euthanize for space or length of time. So we're pretty proud of that fact that we did get, we did get our plaque and we are a no-kill shelter. We're at that number again this year, so we're still above that number.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. Yes, we're pretty, they work hard there. We work hard to get every dog that we can adopted out, and working with a bunch of different programs to try to get transferred. We just picked up, the one transferred out went to New York, so we're getting a group of people from the north. We got a transport set up to where we drop them off, they'll pick them up and transfer them all the way out. So we're getting in with those guys. That was our first one. They do it weekly, so we're trying to now get in with them to keep that going. So we're pretty excited about that. We do have a canine group in Florida that we're trying to get in with that does for dogs, for working dogs. And we're trying to get, like I said, we had a program that they can fly them there, so we're trying to get all that connected, which would be kind of cool. And then lastly is our adoption building. We're getting followed. I don't know if anybody's followed us on there, but we actually have all the walls up now. And hopefully this week we're going to get the electric done in. Huge shout out to Adam Haley of H&S Homes. They donated windows. We only had one window bought, a little 2x3. They donated 2 5x3 and a 3x3 window. So we got a ton of light in there now. And Jolie of Vice and Virtue, she is donating our window AC heater unit. So I want to give them a shout out for helping us out.
And then, obviously, I want to give the big shout out to Jared Toomey for letting us have the inmates on the weekends, the extra inmates and the stuff we needed. Without those guys, this wouldn't have been possible. They've been a huge help in us getting that done. So we hope to have the building open probably mid-August, because we are only doing it on the weekends, but it's getting there, and we're pretty excited. And everybody that's come through there is pretty excited. They're like, we don't have to go all the way up those stairs anymore. We're like, nope. So we're pretty excited about that. Other than that, I don't have anything.
When you say they're returned from foster, is that a common turnaround?
So what we do is we have two programs. We have a foster program, but we do a foster to adopt program. So the numbers are kind of a little bit skewed on it, but we give, being county-wise, to the whole money situation and how, so we devise the system instead of coming in and adopting, and then if it doesn't work out in a couple of days, 3 days, then trying to get them their money back, and it's just a mess. So we do a foster to adopt program where they have 7 days to take the dog, see if it fits in with their family and their home, and within that 7 days, if they feel it's a fit, then they can come and adopt. If it's not a fit, then they just come and return. So that's why this number, you'll see the numbers, the returns 10, and then the fostered 11. So basically 11 of them went into foster to adopt, and then 10 got returned and then adopted. So just our accounting, just our in and outs, right? So they may have returned it, then adopted it.
Oh, okay, because that was confusing. I was going to say, so you got 11 back? No.
No, so that's, but just how we have to work it and word it, just for our accounting systems of in and outs. So the numbers will look a little, like I said, the 10 returned, but we started that program, and it's a great program, because a lot of people are like, oh, I just don't know if it's going to work, and so we give them the choice of.
Well, it's a good idea. I just didn't understand the return thing.
Yeah, so that's that.
I get questions sometimes on ACO pickups and maybe like animals with neglect. Can you maybe just, as a public awareness or informational, just explain what the process is on if someone wants to report that? Or
if they want to report it, yes, definitely call.
Call y'all. They call EOC.
Call EOC. Call them, because we need a report on it, and then we go and check it out. Now, a lot of times, especially with this heat, people get a small sampling, right? They'll see a dog out with no water, no shelter, or anything. We go check it out, and the guy's like, yeah, I just put my dog out for a couple hours. He's coming back in the house. So we do go check on those, on all the reports, whether it's, a phone call, a site visit, however, we make sure we follow up. And if that's the case, then we don't just let it go, because he could say, hey, yeah, just let him out.
Yeah.
So we'll do a follow-up, and just to make sure that, everything's on the up and up. But definitely, we, don't hesitate to call, and we'll check it out. And it is, the KRS standards aren't the highest, just food, water, and a shelter is all they need. Whether you believe the shelter is good enough or not, that's just the standard. So we get some of that too. It's like, well, I wouldn't do that with my dog. Well, it's not your dog, and and unfortunately, that's the standard that we follow.
And I appreciate y'all working on the ordinance too, as far as the, about the breeders. Puppy mills.
So we have that. We actually have an updated one. I have it sent to Brandon right now for the city, and it has some wording in it. We're going to send that to Auburn as well to try to get them on board, and then obviously we'll come to you guys once we get everything set up and just look at the whole breeding. On that, I think it will be a nice thing for the community, obviously, to slow that down, but then also have responsible breeders, and make sure that that they're doing
Just to make sure it
everything.
doesn't get out of control.
Right, because it does, and people,
And then we have an intake of 30 dogs, so.
exactly. So, yeah. Any other questions? We're good?
Appreciate
All
it.
right, thank you.
Thank you, Eric.
Very much.
Thanks.
All right, that's, we got down to reports. We said we didn't have any committee reports at this time, so now we're opening up the floor to citizen participation. If anyone would like to come forward and speak, now's your time. We ask that you kind of limit your time, if at all possible.
First off, thank y'all for y'all's time. Not really sure how to go about this. I'm a recent participant of all this stuff that Toomey's been doing at the jail, and I know some of it seems a little different than the way things went in the past. I just want to let y'all know how good a job this man's doing. I've been on the other side of the fence for a long time, and for years I didn't know anything else. This man has got it to, not only do I got a job, I got a place to live, I got everything I need. And if it wasn't for him and the trouble that he goes through to bring all these outsiders in, there would never be a change. The recidivism rate would stay the same. Everybody would get out and do the same thing. If we have nothing different to do when we get out, we're gonna go back and do the same thing that we already know how to do. And there's a nice piece of information that come along with it. Not only does it benefit us, but the small businesses here. There's a program set up through the Career Center that if business is slow and they give one of us a job, the Career Center will pay our salary. So it benefits the community just as much as it does us. And none of this information, I've never heard of any of it until he started reaching out to all these people. And I don't know if you got family members that's been through this, I'm sorry for the stuff I've done in my past, but this man right here has helped me see a different way. I just want to put that on record that he is doing an awesome job.
That's great. Thank you.
Appreciate you
Thank you
sharing
very
that.
much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for
Yeah.
hard to do
Yes,
what you
that is
do.
awesome.
It is.
Took a lot of courage to come and make
Keep
this. Thank you.
going.
Thank y'all.
Keep going.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Ashby. Appreciate that. Good to hear success stories. Those programs.
Is there anyone else?
Judge, I'd just like to acknowledge, I got good friends from Tokyo, Japan, who's come all the way to visit me. I met Mr. Matoshi in 2016, and he came and wanted to see how county government operated, and introduced him to some folks, and lo and behold, Miss Catherine Smith was able to speak his native language. So if y'all didn't know, she can speak Japanese, so I did not know that.
That's fabulous.
So, thank y'all very much.
Welcome.
Appreciate it.
Welcome. Glad to have you. If no one else, let's move on. We have nothing to discuss for old business at this point, so let's move on to new business. Item number 1, hold the second reading and adoption of ordinance number 25-52001, an ordinance relating to legal special purpose vehicles.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any other discussion?
Anything changed between the first and second reading?
Stacy, have you seen anything? Because I haven't seen a thing that changed.
I'm just talking about our ordinance.
Oh, our ordinance, no, nothing has changed in our, my apologies, I thought you were talking about the state.
No.
Nothing,
We're already doing them in the office.
Exactly.
In case, we're here, obviously, we pass this, but also in other places. A lot of our customers probably taking them other places, honestly, away from Logan County.
right.
So, we're ready.
You said you've had a 2 already?
2 at least, if not more. I know of 2 for
You know of
sure.
2? Okay.
Probably more than that.
Well, you'll have a 3rd one here after a while.
Okay, come on.
With that being,
Money.
I'm sure you will. With that being said, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes,
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes. Item number 2, approve the bond release of former Deputy Coroner Jacob Burton.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Not, roll call?
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes. Item number 3, appoint code enforcement board members. Is that list on there? Where? Did you put it in the same?
I'm not always good with names, but I just did want to
Oh, I'm
acknowledge
sorry.
the gentleman that spoke during the citizen participation. He did wonderful work out at recycling, and so I just want to appreciate him so much for what he's done.
Mr.
Ashford. Mr. Ashford. Yes, yes. We appreciate his work.
So, according to the ordinance, we have to have 5 board members, and we are giving you a list of 5 different board members that Nathan and I have vetted. It would be James Brady in the Auburn area, Terry Milam here kind of in the Russellville area, Jim Marney, in, I would call it Russellville Chandler's area, Cindy Taylor out in the Olmsted area, and Reggie Murphy in the Lewisburg area.
Just a reminder on what the ordinance had, it was a 5-year term for these members, $500 a year. We'll plan monthly meetings. In fact, we'll hope to plan a meeting this month to get started. It won't necessarily take place just depending on the necessary business, and they need to attend 75% of those meetings. So we did have different areas, the kind of different experiences represented, and I did a little write-up, I guess, y'all have there on each one of them. And District 2 was the odd one out, but the judge can correct me if I'm wrong, but we'll probably, when we get a vacancy, we'll be looking there maybe first to see if we can get the next one from District 2.
Make a motion to approve the appointment of these 5 individuals to the Code Enforcement Board.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? If not, roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
I appreciate these people's willingness to serve.
Exactly.
It's, I know for sure they're not doing it for the money, so I appreciate their wanting to be involved in the community.
Look forward to working with them, appreciate them, and we'll be in touch as to how it's going.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That wasn't a light. We met with each individual for about 30 minutes or more each and went over several discussion points, and they all were really good. I feel very confident.
Appreciate you and Nathan's work on that too. Appreciate y'all doing
Yeah,
that.
thank you, Nathan. All right, moving on. Item number 4, approve the one-time contribution to the Emancipation Celebration Steering Committee in the amount of $200 for fiscal year 25-26.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
That is a fantastic parade
It is.
for the public, and it's nearing us, it's about a month away.
Yeah.
So I encourage everybody to come. It's a pretty big event.
Paulette Smith's wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's a good parade.
Just about supported it.
Item number 5, approve the one-time contribution to the Logan County Tourism and Convention Center for the amount of $1,000 for the Kentucky State Fair sponsorship for fiscal year 25-26.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes. Item number 6, schedule a public hearing for the purpose of discussing the notification of intent to finance for the purpose of the Logan County Park. The date we're looking at is July the 22nd.
So moved.
Second.
Is there a certain time
It'll be during court.
During court.
It'll be during court.
during court?
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes. Item number 7, approve the service contract with Laser Copy Technologies for 25-26.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. Item number 8, approve to advertise for bids for HVAC maintenance at the Logan County Clerk's Office, Animal Shelter, Archives, PBA, Coroner's Office, and EMS building facilities for fiscal year 25-26. This isn't quite up, but we want to go ahead and get it, actually what we want to do is go ahead and get this motion to get these out for bid, and then our hope is to actually roll them in where they come up and do at the same time all our other bids. This one is, this contract and this stuff is odd out. Does that make any sense? It comes later in the year. What we'd like to do is rotate it, keep it to where it's all at the same time.
Okay.
Is road department covered separately by another contractor?
All they have is a window unit. So we don't, no.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilco,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. With that being said, we have no more new items, so let's move on to post agenda. Does anyone have anything for post agenda? Anyone, magistrates? If not, I have a couple.
Do you have something, Ms. Crawford?
Yes, I
Oh,
sent
well, go
everybody
ahead.
one this
Well,
morning.
Go ahead then. You
So
want
do I need to address it now?
Yes, ma'am.
Just say, did everybody get her email this morning? I know me and Chris and her had worked basically on a ordinance that dealt with those situations where people are wanting to put a driveway into a county road. So we tried to put some restrictions, some permitting, but then also be realistic in certain times that might be able to be waived if they're not actually going to be impacting the road or the right-of-way. It would be amending the existing ordinance we have that dealt with the right-of-way. It seemed just logical to do those in one, so people weren't looking in two different spots. But we had got this done a couple of months ago, but you all were working on the budget and other big stuff, so I think Ms. Crawford and I were good to wait till it was a little bit better timing. So if you all didn't get a chance to review that, we could put it on for the next agenda.
Well, that was what I thought
Approve the
might be
first reading.
preferable, but I have no preference.
Let's do that. Let's put it on the July 22nd meeting for the first reading of that ordinance. That way we have time to go over everything.
I'm looking at the email, but I guess I don't see it. Can we just resend the attachment?
It's on.
Is it on there?
Scroll all the way down.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's on the attachment.
It was one that I wrote and Joe has amended.
Okay, sorry.
So if everyone's in favor of that, if everybody's good with that, we'll just put it on the July 22nd meeting to have a first reading of that ordinance to work through that. Is there anyone else at the table have post agenda? All right. We put out for bid our cleaning service here at the courthouse. Company Take It did it for a little while and decided that they were no longer going to do this service. So if it's okay with the court, would like to drop down and take the company, that was second in line on that bid. Bail cleaning service. I don't know if do we even need a motion for that, or is this just more of information?
I think it would be clear for them, for purposes of accepting their bid, to just get them to approve that.
Their bid is on there. It's $1,475 for monthly for a 2-day-a-week cleaning.
Make a motion to accept the previous bid of Bell Cleaning Services to clean the courthouse due to the ones that were awarded the bid.
Right.
Decided not to do it anymore.
Right. Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Any other question? Not roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilco,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes. All right, the other item up is the SROs. Probably could have been rolled in as old business, but I think a lot of things have gone back and forth. Dana and I spoke this morning, Dr. Costello, excuse me, and I spoke this morning, just a little while ago. I think I sent every one of you an email, an update of where we were on this situation. And just looking for feedback on my proposal, which that proposal was the 75-25 for 7. Fiscal court pick up the 8th, and we would have the Kentucky Center for School Safety, I can't remember, come in and evaluate the numbers of SROs needed for next school year.
And this is something that they usually do?
It's something we're going to ask them to do.
Okay. Okay, so this is because there was a refusal for the 8th. And so we're going to pick up the 8th by the court.
Yes, ma'am.
The only thing I'm gonna say about that is I'm not against them doing that, but sometimes you gotta ask yourself, what are you gonna do when the answer is, let's just say 10. What if they come back and say you need 10 SRO officers? Okay, just be aware, you may get an answer that's not gonna be 8 or 7 or 5. It could be 10. So what are the two bodies of government going to do in that situation when that happens? Be careful when you ask something, because, I've done quite a bit of research since our last court meeting, and, I've read what the law said, I've read what the legislators passed, I've read, what the school is requesting. I went back to our court meeting back in August when we agreed to do this for 1 year, and and now we're going to go to somebody else and ask them their opinion. And what are you going to do if you don't? My question is, what are you going to do if you don't like their opinion? We're going to be in the same position we are today. Right now. The number just may be worse. Okay? It's going to put the school system at a precarious situation to, well, do I do this or I don't do it? Puts us in a situation, well, are we going to do it or not do it? And all for what? I mean, I don't know why we keep on pushing this down the road. I mean, I'm not for asking them that question. The law has been written. It's pretty clearly stated. And I don't know why we're asking somebody else to give us a different opinion, because somebody else doesn't like what is being said. I don't know. But what are you going to do? I want somebody to answer that. What are we going to do when the answer is 10? Somebody answers that for me, and I can make a decision on how I'm going to vote.
If the answer is 10, then the school system got their answer from, we have our answer, they have their answer, and we go from there.
Go from there doesn't tell me any different than where I'm at right now. Are we paying for it? Are we paying for the extra 3? Or is the school system going to say, okay, they're right, we're wrong, school's going to pay for 10?
That would be a decision that would need to be made once we got that information.
I can't answer for the school, but I can answer for us. What are we going to do? Forget the school system. What is Logan County Fiscal Court going to do when that report comes back and says we need 10 SRO officers? Our recommendation is y'all have 10. What is Logan County Fiscal Court going to do? I don't care what the school board's going to do. I have representatives on that body that I trust, make good decisions, good administrators out there. I can't do anything about that, and they've done a good job governing so far, so I don't know why I would doubt them now. But I do have control a little bit of what this board's going to do. So my question to the 6 of y'all is, what are y'all going to do when that report comes back and it says 10?
I'll share where I stand on it. So I think making it more complicated than it should be, just to be honest with you. I mean, like you said, the law says school boards are required to have one police officer per campus, right? And that's what they're asking to do. They're asking to be part of that as far as financially, to pay whatever percent, just like we had before, more now since they're getting the grant money, on 7 SROs. So, and then the other side of that is the sheriff and sheriff's office. Just like we set their amount of employees they get every year, okay? And we do that for every department. We have not increased the sheriff's number. We haven't decreased it. To the simple fact for me is that we have not changed that allotted amount of number that we give him every year. So he made the decision that he wanted one less road deputy of the allotted that we give him and make that and have them posted at the high school. I think the sheriff has every right to do that as an elected official. I think the people that put him in office gives him that right to. It'd be one thing for me if we said, if he went from 42 employees to 43 and we had an 8 SRO. We have not done that. We've kept his allotment the same. And I think, I agree with you, I don't think we ought to reach out and get an assessment. I mean, we know the law, and the law is you've got one per campus. And that's what the school system wants to agree on in that agreement. But on the flip side of that, I'm not going to run the sheriff's office. We haven't changed his allotment number. If he wants to, if he says he wants to put one of his road deputies at another school, I mean, I'm not going to dictate that.
Yeah, but then he has to adjust his budget. See, the problem is, one SRO per campus sounds great, but when you've got a sprawling campus, like Logan County High School, that's a very different scenario. And that SRO stood right before us and said, I cannot be at this one, and if they have a problem with that one, I can't be there fast.
Right, and that's where the sheriff has said he wants to take one of his positions and put him at the high school, an extra position. And I'm not going to dictate that.
No, I'm not trying to dictate. I'm just saying we're asking him to take it out of his budget. And we're all going to say, oh, that's fine, except that it falls on his budget. I find a big problem with that. But again, I'm not wanting to be a thorn for anybody.
Yeah.
I just feel like that sprawling campus probably does need more than one. But if the law says they only need one, that's what the school wants to stick with, fine. But I do have a big problem with saying our sheriff has to take it out of his budget to pay that. So that's my say, and we'll just leave it there.
Judge, I wanted that, just to verify, I guess, your response yesterday. So the school board has not acted on our motion of our last court meeting, is that correct?
Dr. Costello's here. Doctor, you want to come up and talk to us?
The survey that's going to be done, that's just for like our benefit.
Better not do it survey.
I mean, like, I'm just saying, that's
Y'all
for
better
our
not do
benefit,
it
not for the
survey.
school.
Y'all ain't gonna like the
They're
answer
just
you
saying
get.
what is needed.
Don't go to a surgeon and ask his opinion, because you fixing to have surgery, okay?
I get it.
I'm
But I
just
mean,
telling you.
we're supposed to, I don't want to say that, but we're supposed to adhere to the survey, but the
No.
school
We don't have to hear
doesn't.
it.
We don't have to hear. What, all I was going to this survey for was it seemed like a logical chance to get a number of what the experts say. I wouldn't say, it wasn't saying a word about the word. The experts said you only need 7, that's what I was going to apply by. If they come back and said 8, we would look at it and go, they're asking for 8, we would go to school and say, hey, this report. If it says 10, as Thomas said, then that's something we're going to have to evaluate. I don't have an answer for it if it came back as 10. I don't have that answer.
And you know what? You shouldn't have that burden on just you. So do not think that this county should look at you and say, you have to fix that.
Yeah, because it's not mine. I
No.
don't specialize in the law. I don't specialize in what what needs to be done to secure that stuff. That's not my job. My job is to try to work out this deal. Both Dan and I have been working Dr. Costello and I have been working a lot, trying to just get this together where we have something to present that's logical and good and agreeable, yes.
Yeah.
So Sheriff Stratton has said that you're adamant that you want that.
Dan, I would just ask you, is this a counter offer that you all made in response to where?
I'm not sure what it is at this point.
We've gone back and forth with numbers back and forth, and as I said, the biggest hangup then seems to be between, you guys asked me you voted last meeting to do an 80-20 on eight SROs. Dan was here, Dr. Costello, excuse me, Dan, we've been knowing each other forever, I keep calling you Dan, but it's Dr. Costello, you've earned that position, you've earned that right. Dr. Costello and I have had emails back and forth. He knew what it was. He came back and asked, and they made it very clear that they only want 7 because that's what the state has asked for. But we have a sheriff that's saying he wants to put the 8th officer out there to protect the students, and he's doing his job as sheriff to protect our children. And I'm not going to buck him on the 8th SRO for that. I'm not going to buck the school system for only wanting to pay for 7, which is all that are required by their laws to have.
And just to clarify too, it was 75-25.
Yes.
I think you said 80-20.
Well, you guys asked me to go back to Dan for 80-20. 80-20.
I'm just reading what our motion was 75-25 for 1 year.
That's right.
For 8.
For 8.
That was our
75-25,
motion.
1 year
That's
for
what
8.
was approved.
That's what we voted on.
I thought it was, my apologies, I guess.
You've had so many numbers going
I've had-
back and forth, I don't know how you keeping it straight.
You're absolutely right.
But I go back, I mean, that's the question I asked is, if the school board rejects what our offer, then that's a point where, okay, we negotiate. But if you're saying that has not been presented for even them to vote down, then I'm not really sure why we're talking just yet. Does that make sense?
Yes?
This is all, to be as transparent as I can about what we have going on. I keep hearing that we as a board are not transparent. We as magistrates are not transparent. I'm trying to be as transparent as I possibly can to the public.
You just got that?
No.
Oh, I was going to say,
I'm
we're trying to make it transparent today.
Exactly, and I apologize. I didn't mean that in any other way other than that's the whole purpose of this, is just to be transparent and to not. Dr. Costello, you came forward, would you like to speak some?
Sure, yeah, I'll kind of chime in. I guess going back to the motion, as I said, I was across town trying to listen as much as I could on YouTube, and was able to get over here right at the end, which was after the vote was passed. But all the discussion was about 7 and doing what the school had asked for, and so I was kind of taken aback, I guess, by then ultimately the vote was cast for an 8th one. Sheriff and I had a great conversation last week, earlier, you know what today is? Last week. Yeah, last week. Great conversation. He and I have been in complete agreement that an 8th is a good thing to have. It wasn't refused. You asked if it was refused. It's never been refused. It's always been accepted. I think the refusal has been, who's going to pay for it? How's it going to be taken? What budget's going to be taken out of? We've got a great SRO with CTC, and most schools wouldn't have the situation where you talk about the size of a campus. The CTC is in view of most of the outer part of the campus. So having a second officer that close already gives us an advantage. So it's almost like having 3 at the high school at this point if we have 2 within the building. So, as far as absolutely having to have 2 at the high school, sort of already got 2 there without the 8th one. But the 8th one, again, does add an extra layer that we appreciate. It really comes down to what you all are willing to allow the sheriff to pay for out of his budget. Is there a slight cost? I think it's a little bit more. It may be a few $1,000s for an SRO versus a road deputy. I know he's got that in their budget. I don't want to get off on the construction nickel that we've been talking about, but that's going to generate additional revenue for the sheriff's department. I hope that's something that you all recognize. The sheriff's department recognizes that not only is this going to benefit us, but that slight increase in county taxes will increase the sheriff's ability to pay for things, and so that should take care of any negligible cost difference that would be versus a road deputy. As far as the Center for School Safety coming in and evaluate, I can
speculate with quite a bit of certainty what they'll say. They're going to say the law says this, and that's one per campus, which they have now determined that could be interpreted as one per school. They're probably not going to speculate that, oh yeah, you should have two. Well, then if something happens, then there could be an issue with them saying, well, hey, that you had them to advise you, and they said you should have two. They're not going to get themselves in that kind of legal predicament. I'm sure they would also agree that, as Thomas said, you could put two at every school, and they would say that's a great thing. But they've also recognized that at some point you got to look at what money's available. We can't just spend endlessly just because we know that while it would be an advantage, while it would be helpful economically, it's just not feasible. So again, just to kind of clear up, Sheriff and I are in agreement. 8's great, 7's the requirement. The Center for School Safety is probably going to tell you what the law says, which is one per campus. It really just comes down to you all deciding if you want to allow the sheriff to use his road allocation to put a deputy in the school. I love that idea. Again, we've got 4,000 people every day that we're in the care for, and there's probably 1,000, maybe 1,100 that are in the high school each day, and so having that additional person there is certainly a benefit that I hope you all recognize. As the sheriff and Phil have said, and as you all have said, that the public recognizes that that's very valuable as well. So I think that's all.
Am I in the understanding then, Phil, since you spoke about clarity to the public?
Yes, ma'am.
So you have accepted this 75-25 for the 7?
We've been at 7 all along. From the beginning, we've said 7. That's what we've
No, I just
always said. Yeah, you're right.
The breakdown of the finance.
Sure. Yeah, I was getting there. I was just going to want to make clear that we've said 7 from the very beginning. Actually, I asked Phil if we could do 75-25 on 7 for 2 years. As he mentioned last time, it just allows us to, we can come to an agreement. I don't know why we would maybe see that it would be, our budget's probably not going to be significantly different. Your budget's not going to be significantly different.
No.
If 75-25 works this year, it's probably going to work next year. Let's go ahead and make a 2-year agreement. We can push this off an extra year to have to discuss again. And hopefully we would rise at the same conclusion, but we're willing to do 75-25 on 7 for 2 years. We feel like that's kind of a good, I want to say, meet in the middle. It's works out well for both sides.
Okay. And so you're happy with that?
75-25 for 7. If the sheriff has multiple times said he'd like to have 8 and taking that out of his road deputy budget, that's I guess for you all to approve. That's not for us to approve or to speak to. I'm just saying if you all would like to approve his ability to take that 8th one, then sure. If that's, the public agrees that that's important, Sheriff, you all agree that that's important, then let's do it.
Well, I appreciate you coming. This is 2 court sessions at a time that you have taken the time to come and speak to us, and that is commendable because it is public record, and this is what Phil, I'm sure, is grateful for as well because of the fact that he gets bombarded, with complaints. So thank you for coming. If you're happy with that, and you're happy with that.
Yeah, I don't want to say a lot, but Mr. Costello and I are 100% agreement on the 8th. It's just that funding part. And I try to stay out of that negotiation of the money, but I think we've all established the importance of the 8th SRO at the high school. That's not really, I don't think the question is just more of the finance part, but I'm extremely happy with whatever you guys come up with. But I just, again, we feel that the 8th is important. I'm willing to do what I need, again, continue with my budget as it's been presented to me for the last 7 years, is make it work, and it's working. So I think we've met the standards of safety more than just the standard, and that's always been a goal.
Well, Logan County needs that attitude. They need a superintendent like this one who will come and talk to us and explain his circumstance. Yes. They need a sheriff who will explain to them, I think your safety is so important to me that I'm going to pay for this out of my budget.
Yes, and that's the safety comes before the dollar.
Okay. Well, hey, I'm good.
So with that being said, what I would like to propose is the 75-25, and the 8th SRO be at the discretion of the sheriff out of his budget.
Was that a motion?
Well, we need a term on this too. I mean, if you guys are good with 2, we'll go with 2. If you're only good with 1, then we'll have this 4-month discussion next year again.
Well, we probably will have to relook at it next year, but I do appreciate all this input. It makes everything better.
I guess I want to follow up and just, I guess I'm asking, why are we not letting their elected body make a call on an offer that we have made?
Well,
I realize y'all may all know the answer already of how they're going to vote, but I'm like, we're talking about this and they haven't talked about it, at least.
Well, what we would do is we would come up with that we're good with it. He would take it to his, and if they're good with it, they'll come back to us. And we'll all
But
sign
I'm
it.
talking about on our previous motion. They have not acted on our previous motion.
Well, I mean, if,
it would be putting it on the July agenda, and then, again, as you said, probably know how they feel, you know how you all feel. It can be brought back to you guys to look at again. We would have to prove it on our end for August, so we're looking to continue to kind of push it down the road. It just delayed a decision. And here's the thing too, and I'm sorry, if I could just say this. It'd be great if I could go and say, this is what I feel like I've walked away from fiscal court and they're agreeable to. Make that decision a whole lot easier instead of one piece of information waiting 2 or 3 weeks or a month, and then one piece of information maybe waiting 2 or 3 weeks or a month, going back and forth. I do feel strongly that, I'll be honest, that's 75-25 is more generous than what they had agreed to, and I said, listen, let's push it just a little bit higher, kind of get the deal done, be ready to move forward and go with this. And so they've agreed up to that amount, and I think they would be agreeable to that. I just hate to continue to push this down the road. I guess from and Joe could speak more to this from a parliamentary standpoint. I suppose you could rescind the previous motion, or you could amend it. I just, Joe can advise you on what to do. If you want to make a decision today, I do feel strongly that's where the board would like to be.
I think either one of those would be acceptable. I think we are running into some dying from a lack of a response, but have you all actually had a board meeting since we last met?
We had a special call to interview an architect yesterday afternoon. That's the only one. We'll have another one next week.
So if you all did want to vote on it today, that would be the procedural way to do it. I'm kind of in the middle on it. Professionally as a lawyer, I kind of agree with Chris that in negotiating, I don't know why you don't push somebody to at least reject your offer, but at the same time, it does sound like this is probably the best that he's going to get them to do, and if you all want to get this over with in terms of certainty moving into the future, that would definitely, those two yin and yangs kind of pull where I'm at today.
we can let him take this to his board Tuesday, let them make the decision and come back to us, and then on July 22nd, we can have it on the agenda to revisit. It's not going to make a difference to me. School doesn't start till mid-August anyway. Well,
When
August.
did you have an opinion?
After our July 22nd meeting, how about that?
I think it needs to be 1 year.
If you guys are okay with that, then Dr. Costello and I think are okay with him taking it to his board meeting, letting them discuss it, and coming back.
Do you want that option put out there?
What is the, what do you?
Well, it would be 75, he would take 75-25 on 8 SROs to his board.
7.
Well, the motion that.
Our motion.
Oh, you're right.
Our motion going, I'm sorry,
Correct.
my apology, our
No, you're fine.
original motion would go,
Sure.
so.
For how many years?
One. Okay. That was the motion last quarter.
I get it. I just want to be clear.
They just hadn't had a regular meeting
Since the-
to address our motion,
Okay.
yeah, to
I get it.
accept or reject it,
I get it.
or counter it.
So please understand that, as Dr. Costello has expressed, by state, they only are required for 7. I'm not sticking up for, well, yeah, I'm sticking up for our side. There shouldn't take sides on this, because it should all be about school safety and what's best for the kids. So let's put that behind us immediately. But I'm here to do whatever the favor of the court is.
I think it's a waste of time. I mean, really, the board's already expressed that they want to do 7. And us going back to them with 8 is something that we already knew before we made the motion and we voted on it, that they don't want 8, or they don't want to pay for 8. So I think it's wasting time. But
So are you in agreement with 1 year or 2 years?
I think being that there's so much question and so much, I think
That's what Jackie said.
I think 1 year would be fine. So, I mean.
And I would,
Go.
oh, I apologize, I mean, I was just gonna say, 75-25 for 1 year for 7 SROs. I mean, it's, if you all,
Do you still want their court?
I just, I don't know, I guess it's just more of the formality of it to me. I mean, I feel like we're changing our tune after we've had a vote, but yet they haven't commented on it. I mean, I realize.
I feel
I'll do whatever.
I feel like they commented on it months ago that they only wanted to be, I mean, is that, the board has commented on it previously that they want to do 7, right?
yeah, that's what I was saying.
Before we made the motion,
We've been
Okay.
7, happy to have 8 if you all are willing to fund it, but we'll pay for 7, and Thomas had said 7 is, if that's what they asked for, then that's.
I think Chris is correct. We need to let that ride out, whether it's a waste of time or not. The school is not going to go unprotected, okay, just because there may or may not be a contract in place.
Correct.
County government.
Correct.
And Steve is going to make sure that the school is protected, okay? So nobody's going to get bent out of shape if we don't make the July, whatever start date for teachers and students they are. We'll be there, right, Stephen? I don't want to speak for you.
Absolutely.
We'll be there, okay? We're going to be there.
I think it's first day.
You know,
August 6th, first day of school.
Full force, okay? So I would encourage y'all just to quit worrying about that part of it, and we just do things as is until we get a new agreement in place, okay? Does that take a month, 2 months? I don't know why we'd get bent out of shape over that. We're talking about our school board, not our, canteen account at the jail or something. So, nobody's gonna get bent out of shape. But this is not, again, it seems like you're majoring on a minor, but maybe we're not. The only thing that's holding us up is what we're not addressing, okay? And this is a very respectfully said. I'm not saying anything against anybody, but at the end of the day, who has the right to make that decision? Okay? Steve has made the decision to put the 8th SRO officer, and we can rehash how we got there, okay, if y'all want to, but I think everybody understands that, and I don't want to drag that through the mud again, okay? But if you don't remember, just go back and look at the August 27th YouTube video, okay? And it'll all come back to you. I think I got that date right, but you'll have to go back. And, but anyhow, this is my point, same with asking that board, who has the right to make that decision? Somebody is making that decision that is imposing a financial obligation not required of them. It's required of this board or that board, okay? And it's just not right for us to do so without input from this board and we all being in agreement of how we're going to do it. We went around this backwards, and we kicked that can down the road for 1 year. Go back and watch the court meeting. We kicked that can down the road for 1 year. Here we are 1 year later, and we ain't addressing the subject again, and we want to kick the can down the road further. Because everybody forgets when time passes, okay? They forget, and they don't want to address it. I can remember going from 2 to 3 SRO officers to 7 and now to 8, and like I said, I'm all for that, but the taxpayer has paying for this, and at some point it hinders us as our body of government, and we only have a certain amount of resources. to be able to financially do this and other things. I agree with you, but disagree with you, Tyler. We did create that 8th SRO officer in that meeting. By doing so, by verbally agreement to put a freeze on 2 hires of road deputies. It took us 10 or 11 months to finally get those 2 road deputies eliminated. That's what Steve said. I'm going to eliminate these 2 road deputies. I don't need them. We'll change it 1 or 2.
That was for the cars though, right? That part was for the cars.
No, it was a position we eliminated.
I know,
and
but-
created the 8th SRO officer. We created that. We were at 7. So we had to create 1 more position.
We never officially created it until this year.
The 8th SRO officer was done.
Oh, I know.
Anybody know when, but it
I
was
know, but I
sometime
mean, as
last
far
year.
as we talking about employee numbers, that he has allotted him as his department.
Wasn't changed until about
It
10
wasn't-
months later.
It wasn't changed until this year. We
That's
said.
correct.
We said, okay, we had to make it official.
That's
'Cause
right.
he
Took us
used-
10 months
He
to
used
do
one
it.
of his positions as a road deputy, he never hired him, so he made an SRO. So now, we took that number, so it was 14 deputies, we made it 13, and it was 7 SROs, we made it 8. That's the only numbers we've changed.
That's correct.
Yeah.
But we did it in last year in September, August or September, I don't remember, not August 27th, so it probably took effect in September because it takes 2 readings, okay? So in September, we created that position. And we just verbally, Steve agreed to put a freeze on not hiring that unfulfilled position.
We still have not made his employee allotment 1 more than what it was.
We increased it 1, and 10 months later, we decreased it 1.
Where to wash.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what we agreed to do. Okay? 1 doesn't have anything to do with other than the finance. Well, you were talking about safety.
Yes.
Are we any more safer? We're
Well-
still using the same number of employees to make Logan County safe.
Sheriff, are we more safe?
Absolutely, every day we're more safe.
Okay, so we're doing it with less employees, I guess.
I'm asking the sheriff,
So-
because it's not my job to make sure everything's
All we
safe.
did was move 1 position off the road into the school. That's what we did. We didn't create a new position. It was, like you said, it was a wash. You created 1, we eliminated 1. So, that's how we fund it. The problem I have with the whole thing is, A, how we did it, 2, what we agreed to a year ago, and we're not doing it now, and then 3, what's to prevent this in the future? Okay, what do we do next court year when somebody says, whether it's Steve or anybody says, well, we need 2 more, we need 3 more? Steve's already said that's not school board's decision, okay? And apparently it's not ours either.
But if we're going, at the end of the day, it'll be more of a conversation if we were taking his total amount of employees that he's had for years, which is 40, I don't know, 42, 44, I can't remember. If we made that 44 to 46, that'd be definitely a more of a conversation that we'd be having, because we have then, in reality, increased what we budgeted for him for the years past.
Yeah.
But if we're at 44 in years past and we're still at 44, it's an easier conversation to have because we have not increased the total. That's the only thing.
If I could just clarify one thing, Sheriff and I are in agreement. As the sheriff, he has a lot of authority over where his people are at any particular time. As superintendent, I have a lot of authority over who's in my building. So is there something out there that says this is who's in charge when it comes to deciding the SR in the building? No. They expect us to get along, they expect us to figure it out. And that's what we've done. And so it's not, and I'm not pushing that back at you, Thomas. I know it's a legitimate question. Who has the authority to make that decision? With his allotment of positions, he has the authority, with your approval, to say, I think this is where they need to be. But at the same time, and I'm maybe speaking out of turn here, I don't mean to, but if you say you've got X number of deputies allotted to you, do you then tell him what streets they need to be on, or what roads, or what part of the county they need to be on? That's a judgment call for him. And in my opinion, this is a judgment call for him. Again, tiny bit more, but he's allocating that individual to be in a school building where we have 1,000 people every day. And so Again, to Tyler's point, it's, one deputy here, one deputy there. It's, at some point, he has to make a decision about what he thinks is important. That's what he was elected to do. And so.
Jason?
Yes, so here's my 2 cents or a nickel. So, we're getting caught up over $20,000, $30,000. I don't know the exact number, but, at this point, with the 75-25 on 7 and us paying for the 8th, the sheriff's made it clear that the 8th one's gonna be there anyway, so we're a lot less than we were last year, correct?
Correct.
Because it was 60-40.
60-40 on 7 SROs last year.
So I guess, Thomas, to answer your question, if the sheriff and the school system agree that 9 might be needed, as long as we're continually paying less and the school's continually paying more, I mean, as long as we don't take on more of a financial burden, that's kind of the way I see it.
I don't know, put the sheriff on the spot if I could.
Well, let's do this.
I'm just gonna say from our point of view, we're not gonna ask for 9. We're not gonna ask for 10, we're not gonna ask for 20. 8. We're good with 7, he's good with giving us 1 more. I can say for the foreseeable future, that's where we're gonna be. There's a lot of scenarios that come up, what if this, what if that, what if school concern for school safety says we need more. In my opinion, I know what the law says, it says 1 per school. He wants to use his allocation to provide 1 more. It's really not gonna be, we're not gonna be talking about, well, hey, what if we did 10, or what if we did 11? That's not even a consideration for us. So that's one thing, I feel like we can put the rest, we can just say, we're not gonna ask for additional people. I don't feel like he's gonna ask for additional people. He can speak differently if he feels differently. I think we're gonna be at 7. He's gonna be at putting 1 of his road deputies in our school as the 8th. And I feel like we're gonna be, the 2 of us and perhaps Phil and maybe hopefully everybody will be on the same page very soon that 7 paid for by the district at 75-25 and 1 allocated out of his budget or placed, not really allocated, just placed there instead of on a road somewhere will be what we can do.
So the question is, we can make a decision today or the 22nd, and it's going to be the same decision.
That's the question.
Just when do we want to do it? The formality part of it, like Joe and Chris was talking about, would be the...
And we can go either way. Again, I feel today something could be the same answer, but sure.
Chris, do you still want to go to the board? Dottie, you're the one that brought that up.
I'm at the pleasure with the rest of the board. I just brought that up because I just feel like, it's their decision. It's their decision next.
I would just say one thing, and this is one thing, I guess, to make you feel better if you're paying for the 8th and they're only paying for the 7. And I don't mean to offend anybody. It's not my intention. I don't know that it will. But I will say that what was presented to Steve at the time last year, the 8th person that he was hiring in, would be somebody that was, I'm going to say, more fresh coming in law enforcement. So they had just recently retired. So the 2 that you have out there are people who are going to be more likely to be doing other work of a road deputy, and we even at times see citations for them outside of the school because they run traffic in the school zone. So they run traffic at other times. So arguably that 8th SRO does do the work of a road deputy, even though it's a couple of people who does it. So you don't have to feel like the school is necessarily, getting a steal with this, because the 2 he's got out at the high school are 2 that, if the rubber hits the road and Steve needs to pull somebody out of a school at his discretion with that 8th SRO, there are people that could go out and work a murder case. So they do have value being placed out there during the day, and they could be pulled out of the school at his discretion, and then Mr. Costello still has the 7 he's guaranteed by contract. Is that fair to say?
I mean, the sheriff deputy wears many hats. The purpose of retired SROs were money saving because of retirement. We all know that. But again, that's 20 plus years of experience of working A to Z. We wear hats of mentoring to preaching sometimes to working cases. So, I mean, you're not just getting an individual that's just new to the game. You're getting someone that's seasoned and has seen everything from top to bottom. So if they work wrecks, they do parking lot, you know, we work criminal cases when they come up. So again, the SRO is just more than, it's just more than an SRO. You have a full veteran who's a deputy sheriff.
Since that was brought up, I will just make mention, and I know you're aware of it because it's your budget, but, you know, you've generally throughout the year had one or two openings or whatnot.
Right.
You know, and what I've seen recently is that you fully staff on your road deputies.
Yes, so we are.
So
I have, with the moving of, with the DTF situation that we're involved in, and me, again, I'm taking a road unit off the road to move to our drug task force now, which then actually allows me to fill that road position, and I actually have two very qualified candidates, so, I mean, we're looking at adding 4 new people to the road in the next year.
So with that being said, you know, where you could use the most SROs and that you had hired to work the road in the summer,
yes,
you was able to use some of those
yes,
vacancy budget numbers to
yes,
pay that.
Yes.
But since you're fully staffed, I don't know that you're going to be able to do
Well,
that.
I've planned for that.
Okay.
Yes, I've planned for that.
So we can beat this.
Which is a good problem to have.
Yeah, it
I'm not
is, but
complaining,
no,
I'm saying.
I have foreseen that future of that, so I've ensured that there is a slot that will not be filled to make sure that funding stays there.
We can beat this thing to death if we choose to. If you want to, for him to take this back to his board, we'll revisit it on the 22nd. It's what's the favor of the court.
Just do it. Go for it, girl. Which one? Well, married man.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I'll put it out there. I'll make a motion to rescind the previous motion if that's the pleasure of the court.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Passes 2.5 hours we just had. Roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes,
Bolden,
No,
Baker,
Yes.
I'm consistent.
You are. Hey, I love
You don't forget.
but that was on the rescission.
Now,
Yeah,
I make
I
a
mean, they should
motion,
have took that to the school board and let them vote on it.
I make a motion for the 75-25 split for 7, fiscal court or county take the 8th for 1 year term, whatever.
Yeah, that's right. It's just end of the year.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? The 8th SRO being at the discretion of the sheriff. Paid for by the
Second.
fiscal court. I do have a second. Is there any more discussion?
In that contract, all that needs to be spelled out.
We'll do that. Sure. Yeah, we'll work with you guys.
We'll work together and make sure that that's 100% correct and at the next
And
meeting.
for 1 year.
And it probably needs to say that fiscal board and Logan County Board of Education are in agreement that the 8th is needed, but with no financial, something of that nature.
Demand of the school.
Yeah.
We'll figure out the language.
Sounds great.
Good.
Roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Goodwin,
Yes.
Wilcott,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes,
Bolden,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes. With that,
Hey, I want to support everybody. I thought that as far as I could, so.
Thank you.
I always said I'm going to be an agreeable person to work with, so.
Thank you all. I appreciate
something
it.
that probably needs to be added to that motion, I want everybody to know, is that if he takes it to the board and that comes back, we get the contract, you guys are okay with me signing that contract?
yes.
Is that okay being added to
Yes.
that?
Yes.
Yes, yes, and yes.
All right, with that being said, does anybody else have anything else we can get on an hour and a half discussion on?
Hour and a half.
Second. Have a motion to adjourn in a second.